Hi, everyone. Hey,
Hi.
congratulations on your new comedy, Re-election.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
You know what? This is such a delightful comedy, and I love everyone in this film. But let's hear it from you first, all three of you. Is what initially drew you that you want to be part of this project and to the characters that you get to play?
Well, I feel like the script, I think that is the first thing. If you can read a script and you can laugh and you can see it, and I think even what Bex was talking about earlier, it did feel like a throwback to the 90s. It definitely felt like I cannot, and I should have researched the comedies that we loved in the 90s. What were those? The come on, the
Election is what I always think of. That was
which,
90s, right?
wait, which
Was it
one?
early election with Reese with it? Was that early
Oh,
2000s or
Oh,
90s?
yeah.
But that's what this movie sort of reminded me
yes.
of.
Your turn. I was done.
Oh, okay, I'll go. I got a call saying, "Hey, you want to read the script?" And immediately when I read this character, I thought, and I might get in trouble, but he's not. I don't even know if he's in politics anymore. But I thought of Bobby Jindal. Like he's the Louisiana. He was like the governor of Louisiana, and it was like this like Indian guy, but he was like trying really hard to like not be Indian. Do you know what I mean? Like there was something like he was just doing, and it's sort of like this. What's her name? Nikki Haley. There's a lot of this like on the Republican side of Indian politicians who are just really trying to be like, I don't want to be Indian, but I just look Indian. But like I was like, there's something that needs to happen. And so I had this conversation with Adam, and then we figured out about this fake accent that I was gonna do. And so I just loved it because that's what I was seeing in my head. And yeah, and then that's how I got involved.
Bex.
I love playing non-binary characters, and a lot of times in the industry, they like to put you in a box, a binary type box. And so I went from playing the edgy girls to not playing anything at all. And so whenever there's any character that comes around that is blatantly and vibrantly non-binary, I'm all over it, especially when it's well written. So I won't say whenever because there's a lot of, you know, crap representation and it's not as exciting. And so reading this and being like, okay, this is a non-binary character who is just themselves and navigating life. Yeah, they're getting bullied, and that's not the main focus of their life forever, which is huge. And I wanted to be part of telling that story of like a non-binary person who is navigating life as it is now, the complexities, the intricacies, doing what they love because they care about other people, and despite being picked on, still caring about other people.
Sticking on to that theme, Bex, what do you think about the generational understanding of non-binary, folks? Because this movie displays that quite well.
Yeah, it's very interesting living that life. I've, tried a bunch of different pronouns, and the ones that feel most like home are they, them. And sometimes that can be hard for other generations who grew up with very rigid they means multiple. I'm like, well, think of me as nine B's. That's what NB stands for. I am nine B's in a trench coat. How about that? And it can still, it's funny, but it can still trip people up. And so it's, for me, I like to come up with different ways to interact with different age groups and different experiences of language because everybody comes at everything differently. And I like that this movie is like, yeah, we don't live the same experience of gender, of language, of pronouns, of any of this. And we can still, even if we don't always understand each other, we can still respect each other and appreciate each other. And yes, I have noticed that a lot of like the younger generations find it easier to pick it up and roll with it than some of the older generations. And I'm noticing every year more and more the older generations who aren't as familiar with it are working to be more familiar with it. And that is all I can ask. And I love it.
Most excellent. Rizwan, tell us, your character is like the closest thing to be a villain in this, but do you even perceive it like that way?
it's really funny because I feel like I think I wanted to go. My instinct was like, let's just go full out, like, in the like you're saying the 90s, like it's very like the typical villain. And Adam, I really appreciate and without spoiling the ending, I feel like Manish has some humanity to him, and I love that that's part of the movie. And to be perfectly honest, there's a lot of times I haven't had a chance to play a character like this, you know. Usually he's the 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 nerdy friend is what is the roles that I get, and so to get to play this guy who's like, you know what, confident, but the antagonist. I love that part of this character. I think I wanted to go further, and I think Adam had the right decision to give him a little bit of humanity at the end.
I wanted you to go further. It's like,
Oh
I
yeah.
was like, what?
You're like, he should just be murdering everybody at the
Yes.
end of this
No
movie.
spoilers, but like the content in the credits is some of my favorite Manish content.
Oh yeah, please stay for the credits because I
Oh,
think
so
that
worth
my
it.
biggest scene in the movie is in the credits.
Oh, hilarious. I said, I missed that. Oh my God. Okay.
Well, Kim has to go back and certain check that out. And Kim, just like Rizwan, there's no such thing as a small role, and you play an important, voice of reason in this film that gives, the idea of second chances. Can you talk about that theme, especially where your character comes in and probably most sane out of a lot of the characters?
Most saying, well, he had to hold me back because, you know, that is, he did because I did cut up, and for me to play straight is so difficult. But it was great because it is a comedy, but it gives me an opportunity to sometimes, you got to have the straight man. But within that, I found comedy and I found, like I said, humanity and levity. And this, like you said, second chances, because I am the end all to be all in the theme of the movie. What I say goes, and that's it. So, like you said, without really spoiling anything, I got to really take a moment and have a really little small glimpse of my softer side in the character. So yeah, I think it's, and that's how life is, especially what we're going through now in this world. We always look for just a little silver lining. When things are going crazy, you want to see that little silver lining.
Well said. Bex, as your role is already challenging enough, but tell us about revisiting, your teen self, playing a teen in a film like this.
I am older than I look, older than I seem, and so I am not Gen Alpha, I'm not Gen Z. My experience of high school, um, yeah, nah, not fun to go back to. I've done it more recently than a lot of the other people in this film, both in career and in person, and I would not go back if I were getting paid to do so. It's fun to tell stories and visit that world, but I'm so glad I'm out of there.
Yeah.
It's I don't want to go back to living that life, you know? So it's exciting to do it as an adult and being able to separate this is the life that this character is living and I get to leave. I get to walk out of that school and not have to do homework. It's awesome.
Homework.
Rizwan, tell us about your transformation with the Texas accent and how comfortable is it to wear the big hat?
So interesting enough, I started it in theater, and one of the first um, plays that I did was for Target Margin Theater called, and it was the American premiere of this play called South. And so I did like a generic Southern accent for that. And then when I was talking with Adam, we were deciding like where should we go, and I think we agreed that it was gonna be it was gonna be that kind of like fake, like somebody's definitely putting on a Southern accent. And I think there's a line he added in the movie where he says, this is not even his real accent, which I thought was really funny because usually I'm doing an Indian accent and people are like, that's not his real accent. So for me to be
Accent.
doing a Southern accent and somebody saying it's not his real accent, it's like I never get to use my real voice in any movie. I just do different accents that are completely fake. So that's how we came up with it. So it's not, I think people are gonna be like, that's not how people sound. And I'm like, that's the point. It's like I feel like again, it's like Bobby Jindal. Like it's this like I am doing a persona of a person that I think behaves like this. So yeah.
Well said. Well, all three of you, you done it very well in this film re-election. Thank you very much for carrying this conversation with us. And audience, let's vote for them. So